Alright, relate. Just when you thought, oh, this nigga Stinkmeaner came back from hell to have his revenge on the Freemans, and he failed. So I guess that's the end of the story, right? Right? Hell nah. You will be wrong because there's actually more to this story. So hey, why don't you grab a snack, sit back and relax as I recap the last chapter of what I like to call the Stinkmeaner shenanigans. Our scene starts off in Woodcrest on this beautiful Wednesday morning. I actually don't know if it's a Wednesday morning or not. I just thought it'd be fun to say. Anyways, we cut to the Freeman residence and peep that they're having a little feast. And I'm not gonna lie, that food does look good. I'm gonna need me a plate. But just then we see a hand break through the wall like it was made out of paper to grab Tom's wife. And guess who it was? That's right, Stinkmeaner. Like, oh my fucking gosh, bro. At this point, y'all might as well kill yourselves because not even hell could stop this demon. And the worst part of it all was this time, it wasn't just one Stinkmeaner, but an entire army of them. As if one wasn't bad enough. Tom tries to rescue his wife, but Grandpa Freeman tells him they have to go and that he can find a new wife. Damn. R.I.P. But as they begin ascending the stairs, Grump yanks Tom's daughter at them and then kicks Tom too. This nigga is crazy. We're not even 1 minute into the vid and bro already caught 2 bodies. They make it to the bedroom and Huey and Riley try to hold the door while Grump uses the window to escape. But the zombies of Stinkmeaner break in and caught Huey and Riley. Grumps didn't give a fuck and kept it pushing, jumping out the window from the 2nd floor. That adrenaline must be hitting crazy cause this was insane. He continues to do the dash and makes it to the lake where we see good old HATEOCRASY. He somehow got into the boat making HATEOCRASY fall out and he finally loses them. And to no one's surprise, this was all a dream. But now we know Grandpa Freeman is an actual villain in his dreams. So hey, whatever you do not end up in Grandpa Freeman's dream where there's a zombie apocalypse happening cause nah, that nigga will do anything to survive. He woke up to see Huey and Riley asked if he was having a bad dream. Bro just smirked and said, shit, bad for y'all. I made it out alive, like gang. This nigga's frying me. Now before we go any further, I have to get this out of the way real quick. We already know what a nigga moment is. If you don't, go watch my other video gang. But what we don't know is nigga synthesis. And I swear the writers of Boondocks were on some strong Zaza back then cause I can't for the life of me understand how they came up with all this type of stuffs in the show. In the first vid, I made Riley explain what a nigga moment is. But today, why don't I let the advocate of hate himself do the talking?
We know that niggas can create conflicts based on ignorance called nigga moments. However, niggas can also create bonds with each other also based on ignorance. This bonding is called nigga synthesis. Unlike the bonds of friends and family, which are mutually beneficial, nigga synthesis is based on a mutual appreciation for ignorant or trivial things. Now, when a nigga moment collides with nigga synthesis, you get a complete motherfucking disaster. Remember this equation. You will need it later, nigga.
Okay, so now that we know that, we can continue. We see this car run over an innocent squirrel before pulling up to a gas station where HATEOCRASY was working his 13th job of the day, right before he clocked in for his movie theater gig at 6. They walk up to him asking about Woodcrest, and of course, bro was making his usual racist comments. They then asked about Robert Freeman, and he asked if they were relatives, before saying Woodcrest don't need no more colors. This confirms that he knew Robert though, so they asked bro to quit the yap, and just told them where to find Robert. But bro was still talking hot, so that leaves them with no other choice but to jump his dammer off screen. The next scene, we see the Freemans are watching the news, and then we see HATEOCRASY in a stretcher, all beat up in bandages and an eye patch. This shit was crazy. These niggas didn't hold back. He described what they looked like and they came up with a sketch. And yeah, this is what most black characters look like in an old anime. Huey then laughs his ass off about the fact that HATEOCRASY got beaten up by a gang of old people, which was valid. But this weren't no regular old people, as we will soon find out. He brings up the fact that Gramps got beaten up by Stinkmeaner, and they have a little convo before Gramps walks off to go fish. The next scene, we cut Huey and Riley at school, and we see 2 members of the crew at the decks asking to see Huey and Riley. The receptionist make an announcement and we see both of them walk out of their class. They was obviously confused by this and Riley could sense something was fishy. So he tells Riley they should make a run for it. We cut back to the 2 old hairs getting impatient and asking why it's taking so long for them to get there. The receptionist assures them they will be there any minute now and turns around to grab them a cup of water. But before she could even turn around, they were gone. We then see Huey and Riley walking through the playing field when Riley spots the 2 old heads and these niggas were aura farming in the distance like gang. What? I'm gonna call the old guy Big T because he got big teeth. Wait, that kind of rhymes. And Granny Tsunade, you know why in a sec. Big T told Huey and Riley they came a long way to kill them. And bro, why y'all going through all that trouble for some kids? Someone lock these niggas up. Tsunade stances up, ready to put belt to ass. Huey couldn't take them serious though and burst out laughing. But Riley was really like that and could sense that these 2 were actually threats. So he grabs Huey and they hit the banners. But tell me why these 2 old hairs suddenly turned into Hawk, jumping across the entire field in one leap. The fuck? Huey's smile quickly disappeared, realizing that they might actually be cooked. They split them up and Tsunade goes after Huey while Big T goes after Riley. Riley backflips all the way to this bench before the fade begins. Big T comes in with a right and then a left and then another right but he was 0 for 3 so far. Riley continues to block his attacks, but Big T drops down below to elbow him in the guts before hitting him with a kick from behind and then another from the front. This was just child abuse. Someone seriously lock this nigga up. And if Riley was doing this bad, you can only imagine what Huey must be going through. Oh, and speak of the devil, bro couldn't believe what he just witnessed. He just watched his big brother, who was a karate demon, get the brakes beaten off him, but Tsunade couldn't care less about all of that. She comes in with a right and then a left hook before punching him in his guts. Not gonna lie, they both using the same moveset. The only difference was Riley was actually putting up a fight. My boy Huey was getting straight to the belt. God damn. Back to Riley, and he was doing all he could, but block into a weave and then another block before a spin kick which got denied before weaving the counter. Bro was terrified. He tries another spin kick, but Big T weaves that shit. Counts in with a left-right combo before he weaves, but he lost his balance and got boomed in the chest, flying off and eating straight grass. No time to recover though, as Big T comes off the top rope with a stump, but he weaves in time, and then we cut to Grandpa Freeman. Bro was having a jolly hard time about to catch some fish. He walks up to this stranger and turns out it was the third member of the gang. I'm just gonna call him Spawn. He gives a little yap section about crabs before revealing that he knew about Stinkmeaner and the fact that Robert killed him. Grams was absolutely terrified and started backing out before Spawn whips out his weapon, which was a crab device with blades on the sides. He started walking Freeman down while smirking before he attacks, but we cut back to Riley and Huey, and they were still getting the belt. Huey caught the meanest combo in the entire series before Tsunade knocks him away to join Riley, but before they could do anything else, the school bell rang and the other kids rushed to the field, so both of them had to get out of there. Back to Grams, and Spawn was still giving him the works. So far, Grams was weaving all his attacks, but he got tired of being treated like a bait, so he pulls out his ultimate weapon, and the ultimate weapon of all black parents, the belt. This weapon was so powerful in the black community that bro had absolute trust in it, going up against a nigga with spinning blades with a leather belt. And what did I tell y'all? They actually managed to get bro to fall down, walking him down with the belt, but he was getting way too carried away, just like any other black parents when they are whooping their kids. I swear you would think their kid took part in some horrible crime. Whole time they just forgot to take the chicken out of the fridge. True story. Spawn got Grams exactly where he wanted him, wrapping his weapon around him, but Grams acted fast and threw the bucket of crabs at him before breaking free and diving into the lake to get away. So back at the Freeman residence, Riley looked up Stinkmeaner on Wikipedia, and the amount of information there was on there is insane. Like, how did y'all know all this? It even knew about Stinkmeaner coming back from hell and everything. Who the fuck is giving these niggas info, bro? Long story short though, the three old heads and Stinkmeaner were members of the HATEOCRASY, and they met in an old retirement home back in the day. They hated each other right away, but hated everybody else even more. And remember the explanation Stinkmeaner gave at the start of the vid? Yeah, that's how they formed the HATEOCRASY and terrorized their retirement home until they got kicked out. They then roamed the earth spreading hate and ignorance for an entire decade before splitting up, and a few years later, one of their members, aka Stinkmeaner, was killed by Robert Freeman. So now the rest of the crew wanted to enact their revenge on the Freeman family. After finding out this info, Huey suggested they act first and take them out, and Grams was absolutely on board. But Riley, being a pacifist that he was, he didn't agree, asking what if it doesn't end there, and then the cycle continues on some Naruto type stuff. But Huey ain't really trying to hear no talk, no juice too. So the next thing we see him and Ed Wansler riding out, terrorizing innocent old people. Huey was trying to tell bro it wasn't them, but bro didn't give a fuck and just kept spraying. So that was a dead end. Riley then comes up with the idea to hire a bodyguard, and there was no one better suited for the job than the strongest black karate master in the entire series, Grandmaster Bushido Brown. They hired him, and this nigga was making Grams spend so much money for his services. And low-key, Grams was kind of loaded because he was able to afford all his requests. First, bro asked for 2 personal battlers and slept in Grams' room, while the 2 battlers slept in Huey and Riley's room. So now they had to use the living room. And what did Grams get in exchange? Well, Bushido Brown was beating anyone who came within 2 feet of Grams. Doesn't matter if it was an officer doing his job, or a random civilian, or even a girl Robert was on a date with. Everyone was catching these hands. And so finally, after spending all this money and not having encountered the HATEOCRASY, Grams decided to call off his protection. But just as he was about to leave, they put the HATEOCRASY in the walkway ready to catch bodies. Grams got scared and asked Bushido Brown to protect him, but bro tells him it's double or nothing. Grams was hesitant at first, but Spawn tells him he will take the deal if it was him. So Grams agrees, and Bushido Brown walks towards them, ready for the final fade. They surround him and Granny rushes in first. She comes in swinging, but Bushido Brown weaves all that before hitting her with a double fist to the guts. Spawn attacks with his weapon, but he easily weaves that before Big T comes in with the same left-right combo he used on Riley. But this is Grandmaster Bushido Brown, so he weaves and blocks all of that before hitting bro with a meaner 3-piece. So they decided to listen to the RDC advice and jump him instead of the one-on-ones. Spawn distracts him with his blades, while Big T comes in with a kick, block into a weave. He then front flips to hit Tsunade in the head with a kick. CTE successfully received, before spinning around to hit Big T with a double kick. Tsunade was getting mad and rushes in to put out Tony's snail numbers before getting blown away. This shit was so crazy, he had a wig falling off. Bushido continues the attack with this nasty kick to her guts, had her eating straight concrete, before finishing it off with this double stomp to her, well, Guts. While doing the dramatic Bruce Lee ad-libs, the Freemen got excited and Bushido runs towards Spawn, who was attacking, but Bushido was weaving all of that. But before he could get to him, Big T comes out of nowhere, landing a punch on him, and then the two old heads started jumping Bushido Brown. But this was the last successful attack, as he recovers and held his own against two of them at the same time, blocking attacks simultaneously. Big T runs out of the frame for some reason, and Bushido knocks Spawn away before flipping over Big T to avoid his charge, before spinning around and smashing him to the floor to finish him off. This was a move straight out of WWE. He turns around to see an angry Spawn charging at him with his weapon, but he misses and Bushido Brown begins to charge at him instead. But this was exactly what Spawn wanted, as he missed on purpose, just so he could do this. Yeah, he beheaded Bushido Brown. And gang, this was such a shitty way for him to go out. So now there was nothing standing between them and the Freemen. They begin to walk towards them, and Grams tried to talk No Juice to his way out of this, saying he was sorry for killing Stinkmeaner and all of that.
We don't give a fuck about no Stinkmeaner.
Stinkmeaner's death was just an excuse, but if it wasn't for the Freemen, they'll probably be out there ruining someone else's life. Like, nah, I'm crying. These niggas are fueled by pure hate. They wake up really early just so they have more time in the day to hate. Probably go to sleep looking like this. But before they could catch any bodies, the police arrived and Huey thanked God, before immediately switching up and asking who snitched and called the police. Like, nah, niggas would really rather die than break the street code. The cops then asked what happened, and Riley simply says, a nigga moment, and the cops immediately understood. But then he says the only way to end a nigga moment is jail. So they arrested the HATEOCRASY, and that was that. Stinkmeaner said he might be in hell, but at least he ends in jail while laughing. And yeah, that's the video. Please be sure to leave a like and comment what other Boondock episodes you would like to see me cover in the future. I love y'all, and until next time, YC out.
This is the fight of our lives, and we're gonna win. Whatever it takes.
Listen to your mom.